I consider myself a creative entrepreneur, several creative projects from technology to blockchain to fashion to retail to cannabis to live events and music. Curious person. I love to read, I love to learn, I love to find value, build community, link up with like-minded people. And so yeah, I'm just somebody who, like I said, I'm a curious, passionate person. I'm really passionate about helping the Black community. I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and just dealt with many different levels of racism, and also I see how that bleeds into just different different problems that we have today. So I'm really all about uplifting people of all different backgrounds, but I know that Black people have been specifically targeted in the past. So I do like to actually specifically help Black people to be able to shorten this gap that seems to be there.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And so you do so much. You're very powerful in like retail, fashion, events, marketing, business. Like I know you've done a couple campaigns in that area. Cannabis, we've met in the cannabis world
Hmm.
originally. Content and now crypto, and I think DJing. Just so much. Where did it all start for you?
That's a interesting question. I would just say, like, I think about just being younger. Like I said, I've always been curious and passionate. I played instruments at a young age. I started playing the saxophone when I was probably like 7 or 8. Yeah, I used to like go down the block selling ice cream. So I've always had this entrepreneur spirit, with lemonade. And we used to like do performances when I was 16. I remember renting out the VFW, or I think it was the VFW, and getting insurance, throwing a party, DJing it. Nobody really taught me these things. A lot of it was just like, I'm gonna just do it. It sounds good. I would go talk to people, and yeah, my family always made me believe in myself. Like if you believe in yourself, if you put in the work, you could do it. And so I think that's just something that's been around the Moses family spirit growing up.
That's amazing, and it's so funny. We have like a very similar path because even at the ages that you were mentioning, like I wasn't selling ice cream, I was selling like candy and
Mhm.
golf balls I would find, and I wasn't DJing it, but I would throw different parties around like age 15, 16. And you're right, it's weird because it's like that entrepreneur, it's like a creative entrepreneurial spirit where it's like I don't necessarily I'm not doing this for a reason. I just kind of see that this looks fun and no one
Mhm.
else is doing it. And I
Right.
don't realize why no one else is doing it because someone should be doing it. So I'll do it.
Yeah, and on that tip, I think about that a lot. I think about it, I'm a spiritual man. I believe in God a lot. And I think sometimes it's like God is putting you to do these things, and while we're doing it, it might feel a certain way, like you're the one doing this interview, and there's certain people that do things, and it's like Michael Jordan's Michael Jordan, and like there's all these different, like, and then there was a Bulls owner. It's like, well, why is he the Bulls owner? Or like why, it's like we can all be thinking about that. And I think we're all here to do something. We're all here to bring something to the table. And I think that's the beautiful thing about community. It's like you were throwing the party right at 50. And then you might have had like this one dude who like knew a bunch of the girls. That might have been you, but that might have been your best friend or something. You know what I mean? And that's how it
Yeah.
was for me. It was just like, yeah, I'm doing this part, but like everybody's kind of doing these other pieces. Maybe there's this one dude, he's a great dancer. And so at the actual event, people had entertainment. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And he was the one to do that because he's been practicing dance moves for years. You know what I mean? So it's like I think it's interesting that we all are the one, like we're the one to do the thing. It's just we got to figure out what is that thing, even if it's just being the audience, right? Because if you're in the NFL, yeah, it ain't gonna be as fun being in them stadiums if they're empty. So the
100%.
audience, the audience has just almost just as much importance, if not more. Like it would take away, any energy if they weren't there. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I think I'm starting, and I see that more as I get older. You know, like some people have like main character syndrome. You know what I mean? But it's like you can't have a movie without the extras, and yeah, whatever. It's the main character, but everybody's super important. I feel like,
Well, oh wow, main character syndrome, especially, being around LA, we see it a lot.
right?
And it's a double-edged sword because on one end, I think, I feel like we have main character syndrome a little bit in the sense of going back to that confidence you're talking about. Like you have to believe you're the one. You have to believe that
Yes.
there's something in you that can just like do what you want to do because you want to do it. And the world's going to, not revolve around you, but it will work on your behalf for you to be able to get these things done as you go. And then you just go. And I think,
I agree with that. I would say so. I would like when it comes to main character syndrome. There's kind of like two sides to that, right? So you can be a
mhm,
main character, but you could also be like conscious and caring to the staff, right? Or you could be the main
mhm,
character and be an asshole to everybody you're working with. You those are two both they're both main characters. And I think, my vision is just like, okay, like can you be the main character with also like realizing like, yo, the dude who stood into your spot like is really super important. You're like, yeah, you're the main character, but it's like, a lot of times I don't think the movie stars even make the most in the film. A lot of times it's like the producers and stuff like that, and so, and if you notice, like I think that's one of the issues with Hollywood is like the people who are really good, but they're like maybe an ass, so they might not get as far. Where someone like I think of like Adam Sandler who works with all his friends, right? He's the main character, but it's like he's bringing everybody and it has a whole energy to it. So that's
well, I
kind of
think
like,
that's part of it. I think that's part of it. I think that's part of actually being like a fake main character and a real main character. Like you can say to yourself like, "Oh, I'm the main character," and then you can be a a-hole and walk around and try to impose your will on it. But if you're really like a quote unquote main character, when you step in a room with other characters, you're not the only character that exists in the world. You're going to socially interact with them in a way and you're going to come together and you're going to do something. And
mhm,
a true main character in their own world is able to recognize the greatness in someone else and, assist in helping
mhm.
someone else do what they're going to do in life. That's
1,000%.
like a side quest. What I mean, if
Mhm,
you're
mhm,
looking into, hero's journey and the different things, studying, script breakdowns and everything like that. And so even look at us. I feel like, how we met, you were throwing an event and I was working with Malcolm Hood from Hippo Treats with the
mhm,
social media because of the Zach connection.
mhm,
And, we met and, on the fashion tip, I told you, hey, I really like your bracelet because, I'm not a hater. I see someone who's looking good. I'm going to be like, yo, that's dope.
mhm,
And you took that bracelet off and you put it on my wrist, and we've been connected ever since.
mhm.
And, we've been, different events, different, collaborations, different putting bringing things together because we both had room for each other because
Mm.
we have confidence in who we are as people.